So, brothers and sisters, here you are, finally getting what you deserve. You have come to your final preacher for guidance. You wish to know his best fragrances in his collection right now, for only I can give you the true recommendations of this temple. Your final preacher's collection is an unusual one. It is the best. It is the best collection, believe me, of all of the temple. I only have the ones that matter, truly. All of the other fragrance influences, they do not have what you need. I do. Because I know what you need. I know what you deserve. First things first, I have two honorable mentions. You see, many people in the temple, they bitch and moan at me that I recommend too many discontinued fragrances. But I am a loving preacher and I can hear you. So, here are the two discontinued honorable mentions, and then we shall get to the real list. First things first, my precious, my beloved Eau de Méchants de Couvent de Minmes. This smells like pure vanilla in almost every way. A vanilla ice cream, a vanilla cheesecake, all of the greatest vanillas rolled into one. It is precious to me. I'm deeply saddened that I will be without it one day. There are many fragrances that have vanilla in them, but this is the vanilla fragrance, the definitive article. This smells like pure vanilla oil, and it has warmed my heart, which has grown cold because of what the influencers have done to me. What they try to do, how they try to silence me. In those times of doubt, as your final preacher, something such as this warms me. It's beautiful, and I will miss it. This is Victorian Tobacco by Galleria. I would love nothing more than to do a documentary about Nevitus, about the pain and suffering that they have caused within the temple, the lies, the real treachery, the destruction, the betrayal. Oh yes, I would love to do that very, very much. But unfortunately, the ministry's legal team is not as strong as I might like it to be. But once we get a good lawyer as a full disciple, tell me, are you a lawyer? Please join my ministry, then join the Discord and we'll have a chat. But getting back to the fragrance, this would be number 3 in my list. It makes me livid that it is gone. It makes me livid that only 108 people voted on it with Fragrantica. This was not a known fragrance. It was on the cusp of being amazing. This was a fragrance from Ashton, Gentsense, Navitus orientated fragrance line called Galleria. But something happened that made this line no more, and I cannot discuss it right now. But this smelt like biting into a Christmas chocolate liqueur. It smells like cognac or brandy with some wonderful pipe tobacco. Truly a one-of-a-kind fragrance, and I'm very sad to see it go. I don't know if it's been cloned or cloned successfully. I don't know if it was that popular to be able to be cloned. What I would say to Ashton is, I know that we have our differences. You are an influencer, a peasant, and I am your final preacher, but it would be lovely if we could one day have a chat. And also if you could re-release this under your own brand now. Before we start this list formally, because I am your final preacher, there is something that you need to know. If I give you a formal ministry order, that means that legally speaking, you must go and try the fragrance that I recommend to you. It is in the temple scriptures somewhere. It's probably Appendix 2, Section 5. I'm uncertain. I do not have it in front of me. I'm talking to you about this. But if I do give you an authentic royal ministry order to try any of these fragrances, it is your duty as a member of the temple to go and seek them out. I don't make the rules. Well, actually, I do. I'm the final preacher. And you will do exactly as I say. If I order you to try one of these fragrances, you will. But this is not one of those. This is Emporio Armani Strong With You Parfum. This feels like the culmination of the line in some way. I think that the term parfum, and especially eau de parfum, is very overused in this temple. But this does feel like the others, the absolutely's, the intensely's, the original, even the freeze, if thou remembers that, rolled up into one. The chestnut, the hazelnut that is in this is so pronounced. in this one. It is wonderful. A wonderful fragrance that I have been wearing off and on and really, really enjoying at the moment. I've got my eye and my nose on this one consistently. Next one is Tobacolour. I haven't worn this maybe as much as I should, but it is quality over quantity at the moment. I have worn this a couple days in a row, and I just thought, my God, this is fantastic. This is another peak of the Dior Prive line. I think that they have got such a mixed bag with that line. It's treacherous. You have the Fève de l'Issues, you have the Tobacolour, and Fève de l'Issues is discontinued depending on what day it is. Christian Dior, I am your final preacher. You tell me whether Fève de l'Issues, one of the greatest and most wondrous offerings to the temple, is discontinued or it isn't. I will not ask you again. The Tobacolour is wonderful. A great, vivacious, bright tobacco in here. A little bit of curry powder as well, which I find to be quite flirtatious almost. But to me, if this is the purity of vanilla, this is vanilla dressed up in a suit and a tuxedo. It's very, very exciting, and I'm very, very proud to have both. As you can tell, I'm a little bit of a vanilla fiend when it comes to fragrance, but that is the way of the temple. That's the way of the final preacher. That's the way that the vanilla cookie crumbles, as it were. Next up is the latest edition of Dior Homme Parfum, the only real Canon version in my mind. I know that some of you enjoyed Dior Homme Parfum, but the problem is you can't, because I formally decanonized the original Dior Homme Parfum. It was far too insulting for your final preacher. It does not exist. In fact, I don't even know what we're talking about right now. How can we be talking about a fragrance that doesn't exist? You tell me. The only Dior Homme Parfum, as far as your final preacher is concerned, and therefore the entire temple is concerned, is this version. This came out recently, and it's the one and only Dior Homme Parfum, and I love it. It is so sexy and jubilant, and people compare it to Le Mal Le Parfum or Le Mal Elixir, as if that's a bad thing, as if this is a crime. This is... I'm sorry, who did the original Le Mal? Who was that? Oh, that's right, it was Saint Curdejean. I'm sorry, who did this? Oh, that's right, it was Saint Curdejean. So you're pissed off that Curdejean was hired to do Curdejean things. Okay, good for you. As far as your final preacher is concerned, this is Canon AF. This is an amazing fragrance, a beautiful offering to the temple, and I love the shit out of it. And if you've got a problem with that, I'm sorry, I'm the final preacher, you're not. And it's just as simple as that. You contribute 13 years to innovating and creating this temple, and then we can talk. Next one, another strong review, Sandalwood edition. This is that real shit. That real shit, brothers and sisters. I've been wearing this a good amount. That wonderful oriental twist on Strong With You DNA. I don't even think that they can make bad fragrances. I know that they've had the leather version. I've not been able to smell that, unfortunately. I know that they've had the amber version, although I've heard not great things about that. I've actually heard, ironically, that the Parfum does a better interpretation of more amber within the DNA than the actual amber version. But your final preacher will decide upon that when he gets the chance. Strong With You, Sandalwood, though, very much a song that has been sung in the temple before, but it's got this caramelized, it's kind of like dried caramels. It's beautiful. The way that the nut, the chestnut, the hazelnut is used in here, it's like a candied dried caramel, and I love it. The wood is most definitely there, the sandalwood, but it is silky, it is sugary. It is the great backbone of which all of this wonderful hazelnut, caramel, chocolatey, vanilla, somewhat amber smell that is in here plays out. And it is wonderful. It is better than the Parfum. I'd rate this as nearly as good as Intensely. I do feel as though Intensely is the best version of this line, but this is coming in hot second. Next up, brothers and sisters, Mineral Wood by Claudio Zucca. I do not do this lightly. I do not say this without the understanding of the full ramifications that this is a difficult fragrance to get hold of. But if you enjoy Chanel Allure Edition Blanche. If you enjoy your citrus fragrances, if you enjoy orange, you enjoy lemon, you enjoy the Allure line, you enjoy Dior Homme Sport, Dior Homme Cologne, especially Dior Homme Cologne actually. As your final preacher of this fragrance temple, I officially order you to go and try this fragrance. The journey may be long, it may be difficult, it may be hard, but you do not want to disappoint your final preacher and the other members of the temple. They will talk about you. I know it is difficult to get, but hell, why don't you ask Claudio Zucca to send you some? The final preacher will thinks that Claudio Zucca may one day become a saint of this temple. He has that potential. Even other saints. He's quite young, but perhaps a cardinal, like Cardinal Zaharoff, like Cardinal Aaron Terence Hughes. These are great men forged in fire, brothers and sisters. Codejean has become Saint Codejean, but he has given his whole life to this, as I have. I am Claudio Zucca's final preacher. I am Francis Codejean's final preacher. I am George Zaharoff's final preacher, whether any of them like it or not. And most importantly, I'm your final preacher, and with the best will in the world, I give you an official Royal Temple order to seek this out. Next is gIVENCHY Désobéissant, my summer #1 of this year. I smell fig in this. It reminds me of a lot of great fig fragrances actually. Fico di Amalfi by Acqua di Parma being one of them. The Imaginary Authors fig fragrance, very similar. And then somebody on the summer video had the audacity to tell me that fig was not in this fragrance. I looked it up on Fragrantica, I searched the temple, and there was no record of fig being in this. But if your final preacher says that there's fig in this, there's fucking fig in this, you understand? And it smells like fig. I'm not imagining it. It smells like fig and tea and happiness and zest and love. That's what it smells like to me. And your final preacher's all about love, so don't fucking piss him off. So yes, a wonderful citrusy tea fig fragrance, and just one of the best summer fragrances I've smelled in a long, long time, honestly. I didn't think that gIVENCHY had it in them, to be honest. I was very surprised by this line. I think this is the best of the line. But the other fragrances from this sort of gIVENCHY exclusive line, they're no slouches either. But this one, head and shoulders above. This next fragrance is Cacique by Renier, and I think that it's official now that although I really did enjoy Kisses Rain a tremendous amount, I think that this is probably my favorite Renier of all time. I smelled a lot of his work. I haven't smelled a lot of his recent work, but I think this has been my autumn #1 a couple of times, and I keep coming back to it because it's just so damn confident and mature and masculine, and your final preacher is running out of space. The amount of times that I've cleaned this Versace robe is in the hundreds. There are certain people from my ministry who I would probably give a royal order to seek this out. There's even coffee in here that I've started to really kind of get. One of the beautiful things about staying with fragrances for a very long time, for years and years and years, and if you're somebody who's young, who's just getting into this, don't be frightened. It will come to you eventually. But if you spend more time with fragrances that you've had for a very long time, and you develop sort of emotional connection with them, and you develop a story with them, it allows you to smell newer things in this. For example, there's a real sort of black coffee in here. In fact, let's go as far as to saying, I don't know if you've ever tried dandelion coffee, but there is such a thing. Very good for those of you who have liver problems. That's a fascinating little detail there. But you can look that up in your own, I'm the final preacher of fragrances. I'm not the final preacher of nutrition, okay? But this is something to think about. But yeah, a dandelion coffee, very dark, very black, kind of soily. And that's kind of reminds me of Bahique, which is kind of the precursor of this fragrance. But a devastatingly harsh, brutalist fragrance that has coffee, that has elements of oud, and has this purple floral edge to it. I was wondering if it was rose. I do not believe that rose is listed. A very, very masculine fragrance, no doubt. If you're a fan of deep, oudy fragrances, this is 100% something that you may want to try. It's by Christian Cardinal, who is, he's a cardinal. He's 100% a cardinal in my temple. I've met the man. A very, very pleasant man. Very funny. Very amusing. And it's a beautiful thing because I see his personality in this fragrance. Meeting a chap at Essence was one of the highlights of Essence for me, despite everything else that happened that was awful and was not enjoyable, and sort of went towards contributing to me becoming the final preacher. But that's by the by. Top 3 now, and this is most certainly in order. All these fragrances have been great, but these final 3, these are my favorite fragrances right now, bar Victorian Tobacco, which for the reasons of it being discontinued, I've not fully spoken about. But Xerjoff 400 is, you know, I was speaking in the ministry to a new member, a younger member, and he said that he felt as though Xerjoff was not as good as maybe somebody of my generation and somebody of my age might think. And it has to be said that Xerjoff did fall off, especially in the past few years. I do feel as though they've become complacent. You know, things like their original lineup, Lyra, Kobe, Neo, were absolutely groundbreaking stuff. Mamluk, really, really groundbreaking. Part of the big sort of niche explosion of the 2010s, and Xerjoff were put on the map by the sheer brute force of their quality. And I feel as though they've declined in quality. Their focus has dropped a little bit. The Xerjoff 400 is unequivocally one of the best fragrances I've ever smelled in my entire lifetime. I feel privileged to own this bottle. I feel genuinely grateful to have experienced this fragrance, and I also want to bring this back, Victorian Tobacco, because this was supposed to be number 3. I am so grateful that I own these fragrances. I am so grateful that these fragrances are in my life. And I know that this is a silly little art form, and there are really serious things happening in the real world. But in my world, and in the Final Preacher's world, these 2 fragrances are some of the greatest expressions of art that I have ever experienced. Xerjoff 400 is, I don't even know, I mean, I've spoken about it so many times that I don't know what I say each and every single time, but a fragrance that I do feel as though, I mean, it's like a bright Christmas patchouli, similar in a way to Victorian Tobacco, actually. I think that they do share that kind of liqueur chocolate. When you bite into a chocolate liqueur, there's the orange as well sometimes. But a orange, deeply patchouli, jasmine kind of incense smell. Astonishing. But it's the depth, it's the quality that's always got me. That the quality is so uniquely high. It is so rich and so vigorous, and so, you know, it just absolutely grabs you. And I don't know if it's a sexy fragrance. I don't feel as though it's something sexy necessarily. I think that somebody could pull it off most definitely as a sexy fragrance. But I wear this in autumn and winter, and I feel hugged. I feel embraced. I feel safe and warm in the arms of Xerjoff 400. So a truly magnificent fragrance. So now we get to our final 2. This is my second favorite fragrance right now, I have to say. I don't know where this is in my all-timer category, but probably somewhere in the top 5. This is Tabac by Zaharoff, and feel free to say what you want in the comments. Try me. Try it. Say whatever you'd like, that I'm a sellout for enjoying Zaharoff's fragrances. Like your final preacher gives a shit. Do what you must. But know that you are rationalizing yourself out of a really good fucking time. Tabac by Zaharoff. If you are a fan of Tobacco Vanille and those tobacco vanilla combination fragrances that was of course born from Tobacco Vanille, then I have some news for you. I order you, by Royal Temple Decree, to seek out Tabac by Zaharoff, especially if you are a gourmand fan and a tobacco vanilla fan, of which the DNA was set precedent with Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. That is an order, and you shall do what your final preacher tells you. And if you have the trolls telling you that Zaharoff is paying off the influence, all this nonsense and everything like that, then leave them to me. Just leave them to me. This reminds me so much of Estonia, in which I wore this for the very well, not first time, but one of the earliest times I remember wearing this was in Estonia. And he does think it could be better, really. It could be better. I actually reviewed Tobacolour in Tallinn, Estonia, and then I went back to Tallinn, Estonia with my fiancée and some of her family. And I wore this instead of Tobacolour. And I feel as though this suits Estonia and Tallinn, Estonia far more. There's this shop that, well, that's a shop, right. I wish I could order you to go to Tallinn, Estonia as well, but let me just tell you this one story about Tallinn, Estonia. There was this place in Tallinn, Estonia, it was like a little bar, and we went into the bar. There's the Hamza, and then there's this little peasant bar, and the women in there were dressed as peasants and dressed like it was, 3,000 years ago, or whenever it was, the Middle Ages. And they were so rude to us. They were so awful to us. And I realized that they were playing. And let me tell you something. This bar, they had no real lights. They only had candlelight. And I had a mulled wine, one of the greatest mulled wines, probably the best mulled wine I've ever had. And they had these chestnuts, these wonderful vanilla sort of chestnuts. And there I was just drinking this mulled wine in this candlelit place whilst eating these wonderful chestnuts. And that's Tabac. That is Tabac. Just that's everything to me with Tabac. So, what is your final creature's favorite fragrance right now? It is a fragrance that was prophesized many years ago. The last time that you probably heard me talk about this fragrance was when I discussed it with Chris from Fragmental. Yes. It's that fragrance. It's the Terence Hughes fragrance that I swore to never tell anybody what the name of it was until the day it was released. And it has been released, and I have it, and I own it. And my God, this has shot up to probably in my top 5 greatest fragrances of all time. I can reveal to you that the name of this fragrance is Hombre by Terence Hughes. The feelings and emotions and experiences that I get from this fragrance, I cannot tell you. I cannot explain to you. This fragrance is truly mythical. I'm sure that we'll get bitches or big bougie Latinas or whatever it is that you want and that you need out of life. I understand all of that. I understand your needs and all that. But I am not one of the Dubai girls. That's not what I do this for. I'm your final preacher, and not only am I ordering you to try this, I demand that this is top priority for you. If you have followed me for a long time, if you have enjoyed these summer and springtime fragrances that I have recommended to you over the past 13 years, no scroll can express to you how I feel about this. I ask and I order you, for your own sake, for your life, and for your love of the temple, of fragrances, and for your word, and for the words of your final preacher, you must seek this out. I will be doing a review of this very soon, and I will explain to you in detail how much of an achievement this is. One thing I have to say before I go is this. Aaron, you may become a cardinal because of this. What you have done here is special. What you have done here is important to the temple, and it is important to me. I have done this for a very, very long time. And this is one of the greatest fragrances I have ever smelled. Do not fuck this up, because you have lightning in a bottle. Do not mess it up. I know how much success that you want, and I say to you, you have got it with this. It is down to you of how you send the message throughout the temple of this fragrance. And if you need your final creature's help, I consider it my duty to do everything I can to make sure that the temple knows what this is and knows who the fuck you are. Those were the 10 best and favorite fragrances of your final preacher right now. You should really, if you are a true final preacher follower, be searching for all of them. As I will say in my review, this fragrance was foretold. It was prophesied many years ago, but I cannot go into that right now. The walls have ears. I need to tell you when the influences are not looking. But if you want to find out sooner rather than later, I highly suggest that you join my ministry. There I can protect you. There I can look after you. There I can save you from the influences, from what they have been doing to this temple of which I built with my bare hands. And also, if you join this month, in the month of October, you shall be sent a secret package that you must not tell anyone about. Only the other full-blown disciples. And that's the thing, you have to join as a full-blown disciple, not just a brother of the ministry, not back of the choir, the full thing. And you shall be sent a secret package by your final preacher. I will hopefully see you in the ministry, brother or sister. You have now gained the knowledge. The wise thing to do is only one thing. Like, subscribe, join the ministry, and most importantly, whatever you do, give thanks to your final preacher.